Hi everyone, welcome to my Summer Garden Almond Milk Soap video. This was actually meant to be a Valentine's Hearts soap, but my hearts didn't work out, so it's a garden soap instead. This soap is made with olive oil, coconut oil, macadamia nut oil and castor oil. If you don't have macadamia nut oil, you could also use sweet almond oil or even just replace that macadamia nut oil with more olive oil. I did a complete water replacement for almond milk in the recipe, and you can use this method for any milk soap. Make sure you've got all the safety gear that you need before you make soap, and if you've never made soap before, please check out the description box and watch my soap making safety essentials video. So I start this recipe by just getting all of my ingredients together. I've got all of my oils mixed in this jug, and I have melted my coconut oil because it was a little bit solid. I've got my mold ready. I'll put all the details for this stuff in the description box. My essential oils and my lye. Everything's all weighed out and I'm ready to go. I've also got my almond milk pre-frozen. You need frozen milk to make milk soap. You can do it without cooling your milk, but it won't be a nice light creamy colour. Because of the sugars in most milks, it does scorch when the lye is added to it, so it's really helpful to freeze it first and keep everything cool. You see I've got an ice brick in the jug with some cold water in there as well. That's just to help it stay extra cool as you're making this milk lye solution. So you saw me there, I just added a little bit of the sodium hydroxide and I mixed that through just little bit by little bit. Add a bit more, keep stirring. Initially it feels like it's not going to melt, but before long the ice cubes start to melt and the sodium hydroxide heats it up and starts to loosen it, and before you know it you've got a milky lye solution. So just be patient, just stir it through bit by bit. And there we go, a few little bits remaining but nearly all melted. So you really want to keep this cool. If that gets hot, as it normally would if you use plain milk, it would probably be a browny colour by now. So to keep it nice and light and creamy, you need it nice and cold. I did take the temperature of this. Look at me with my new thermometer. How fancy. 21 degrees Celsius, about 71 Fahrenheit. So that's nice and cool. Now to do the decorative top on this soap, I'm using some micas. I know that not everybody likes to use micas. They're not the most natural soap making colorant, but I have these on hand. I bought them years ago and I just kind of want to use them up. But you could use other natural colorants to do this method as well. I've got some green mica and I've got some sunset kind of peachy colour. I'm just mixing those in with a little bit of olive oil, making sure that there's no lumps. Mix them in really thoroughly until they're fully smooth. These are the same ingredients that you get in eyeshadow. It's that shimmery kind of pigment. The soap's ready to make now. So I add my lye solution to my oils. Make sure you get all of it out of the jug and just start giving it a bit of a stir. We're going to make this soap first and then put the colour on the top. Get your stick blender and just give it a little blast. It didn't take much for this soap to reach a light trace, and that's all you want. These oils move pretty slowly. There's nothing really fast happening with this soap, so just a short little stick blending and it comes to a nice emulsion pretty quickly, and that's all you need to do really. So that's all the stick blending that I did. Just hand stir it from then on. I always leave my essential oil jar really close to me when I'm making soap because there is nothing worse than forgetting your essential oils. So I grab that next and put that in. It's the worst when you make a beautiful soap and you forget your essential oils, so leave them close by. So I tip them in now and just hand stir that. I'm using a combination of petitgrain and lavender essential oil and they're just beautiful. Petitgrain is made from the leaves and the twigs of the bitter orange tree. It's a beautiful essential oil if you can ever get your hands on some. All the details for that blend are in the description box. So just stir that through, and once you've got a light trace, that's all you need. Just pour it into the mould. If your soap is very thick, you won't get it really smoothly in the mould like that, so pour it in while it's still pretty runny. You see, this is quite a small batch. I really just wanted to make a very small batch and make 3 bars out of it. You'll see later on how I cut it. Now I've just got a toothpick. This is what I'm going to be using soon. But first, what I want to do is just drop this oily mica on top of the soap. So just get a chopstick or something similar. A small paintbrush could do this quite well too, or the back end of a paintbrush. And you just want to drop that on just in small little dots. And do it as you please. Just go over the whole soap. You know, you can use 1 colour, you can use 5 colours, you can do whatever you like here. Just, you know, have fun with it. How this works is that the olive oil that the mica is mixed with, it actually saponifies with the rest of the soap because it's sort of sitting on the top of the raw soap batter. As the whole soap block saponifies, the oil that the mica is mixed in with, it will saponify too. So you won't even notice any oily patches on the top. It'll just be shiny. So once I've got my 2 colours on there, really it's just a matter of dragging your little toothpick or whatever you've chosen to use through the soap. I have done this before and I got lovely little hearts, but I think this soap got a little bit firmer underneath and it didn't quite work. So it turned out to be quite beautiful, I thought. It reminds me a lot of the Bodhi leaves of the Bodhi tree, which is just glorious. So I was happy with it. It's pretty special. And there you go. That's all you do. The soap is done. So I put the soap in the freezer. Don't mind all the funny looking things in my freezer. But basically you want to put your milk soaps in the freezer. Not everybody does this, but it is a good technique. Just put them in there for a few hours and that really helps the soap stay nice and cool. There is the finished product. Taking it out of the mould the next day. It's still quite soft because it has been frozen for the first part of the saponification. It slows everything down basically. So ideally, you know, you'd leave this for a few days before you cut it, but I wanted to get this video done, so I took it out the next day. It is just firm enough for me to handle and for me to cut, so it's okay. You could get away with doing it the next day. You'll see how soft this is. So I'm just cutting this little loaf into 3 bars. They're just beautiful. That's just the right size bars for me, for how I like my soap. Again, I'll put the descriptions of the weights and the sizes and everything in the description box, so make sure you check that out. I just got my little cheese slicer and just trimmed these soaps up a little bit. They are quite soft now, but they'll get nice and hard with a good 4 to 6 week curing. So you want to cure these just like any other soaps that you make. And that's it. Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. If you'd like to provide some financial support to my channel and help me make more videos, please check out my supporter page at buymeacoffee.com/ElliesEveryday. A big thanks to everyone who's already provided support there. I really appreciate it. Until the next video, take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon.